Tom Peacock Nissan on 45 I-45 freeway. I don't recommend anyone to do business with them as a result of what I went through with them trying to purchase a car from them. In the process of purchasing, thinking I was purchasing a car from them and trading a car in, my car got sold to an auction. Luckily, they were able to get the car back. Luckily, I was able to get the car back for me, and I was able to get my money back. But it's just you don't do the business. There's a no. I don't recommend no one to go to Tom Peacock. The business is bad. The communication is bad. The experience I had is bad. That's the worst experience I've had in dealing with trying to buy a vehicle. The worst experience I've had in my life. And I just thank God that I was able to get my car back. But I just don't, I'm just overwhelmed with the whole scenario of the situation that happened. Okay, I went over there, I believe it was August the 9th, August the 5th, because I had got a letter saying that they wanted to buy back the 2015 Nissan Versa. Of course, when I got over there, that letter was null and void. So they asked me, I had a salesman to come out. His name was Victor. Asked me what I was looking for. I said, well, I wanted to look at the Altima. Looked at a 2020 Altima. Test drove it around the block and brought it back. And he asked me, did I like it? I said, yeah, I like it. So he said, you're going to do, well, let's do the paperwork on it. So I sat down and they asked me how much did I have to put down. I told them I could put $3,000 down. So after I put the $3,000 down, they automatically came and debit my card for the $3,000, and they done the paperwork. They said we got approval. So that night they said that I could take the car home and to come back the next day to sign the paperwork. Came back, me and my daughter the next day, signed the paperwork, and they told me I had to have insurance on the car within 3 days. So of course I went and got insurance that next day. We signed the paperwork, came home. I think a couple days later they called and said I needed to come back in because we need to do the paperwork again because they needed to put gap on the car. The bank wouldn't accept the application without gap. So came back in, signed the paperwork again, and we left. And the finance company was supposed to be Westlake Financial. So, and my payment was supposed to be due September. The first payment was supposed to be due September the 28th. Okay, so I had the car from, I guess, August the 9th, all the way until yesterday. As August was leaving, I started thinking, I said, well, okay, I haven't got anything in the mail from Westlake Financial, no coupon book or anything, stating. So I called them myself and they were telling me that the application was denied. I didn't hear anything from Tom Peacock. I kept calling Tom Peacock, and every time I would call, I asked for finance manager, and the only thing I would get was a voicemail. I left a voicemail, no one never returned my call. So I think this was like in September sometime. I went up there, and when I went up there, I asked for a finance manager. So they told me to sit down. So this guy came up to me, asked me how could he help me, and I asked him, was he a finance manager? He told me, yeah, his name was Ephraim Bryant or Brian Ephraim, something like that. So he'd say, okay, I was telling him what had happened and that I hadn't heard anything from the dealership, and I had been calling because I haven't got anything from the finance company. So he said, well, come back to the office. He looked up on the computer. He said, well, let me see when it was funded. I was like, okay. So he looked on the computer and then he said, well, let me go back here and talk to, I don't know who he went to talk to. He came back and he said, Ms. White, you want me to give you the truth, or you want me to tell you what you want to hear, something like that. I said, no, tell me the truth. He said the car was not financed, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to get it financed. I said, okay. So mind you, I traded in the 2015 Nissan Versa. And at that time, I think it was like $68,000 that was owed on the car. They told me they would give me $2,000 for the car because it was kind of in bad shape. And they would pay the car off. So I was like, okay. So mind you, the payment on the 2015 Nissan Versa is due on the 28th of each month. What made me call the dealership is because the car note people called me about the car payment. And I was like, well, ma'am, the car was traded off. And they supposed to have been paying the car off like that. And she's like, okay. She said, well, you might want to reach out to the dealership because we haven't got a payment yet. I was like, okay. So that was the first call. That was August the 28th, where they called. It was probably like a week later because I was late. So it could have been like in the beginning of October. Then September. Okay, so yeah. Then after that, I got another call. So when I got that second call, that's when I went up there. I was like, so y'all making me late. He told me that they were trying to get the car financed. So they kept running me and my daughter's credit. I have about a total of 15 inquiries from Tom Peacock where they ran it through the same people that said no the first time, but they kept running it. So I started thinking, I was like, okay, well, y'all, if you can't get it financed, then you just give me my refund back, my deposit back in the car. So it started feeling something wasn't right. So I kept contacting Efren because he told me, he said, well, if you have any questions, call, let me know. So I called back. I said, well, have y'all got it financed yet? He said, no, like that. I said, okay. So I'm like, well, where is my car? Like that. He said, to be honest, Ms. White, I don't know what's going on. I was like, okay. So this was last Monday. He called me. He said, Ms. White, they just want the car back. I said, okay, I don't have a problem bringing the car back, which is the 2020 Altima. I don't have a problem bringing the car back as long as you guys have my down payment and my car. So he's like, okay, well, you can come pick the car. I said, well, can I bring it? That was last Monday he called me. I said, well, I can bring it when I get off. He said, no, wait till Tuesday or Wednesday. I was like, okay, why do I have to wait till Tuesday or Wednesday if my car is there? If y'all haven't paid the car off, it should still be there. So he was like, wait till Tuesday or Wednesday, or I'll call you. So, okay, he didn't. Tuesday came, I called him. I said, Efren, can I bring the car? He said, no. He said, it's a 68% chance you can bring it today, which was that last Tuesday. I was like, I'm not understanding 68%. So as that went on, I texted this other guy that had something to do with the paperwork. Her name was O.C. Brooks. So I texted him and asked him what was going on. I said, because I'm feeling like it's another issue going on. And he was like, okay, let me get the paperwork started. Then I started getting more inquiries as soon as I got the phone with him, last Tuesday, I started getting more inquiries. They're trying to run my credit again, trying to finance the car. Come to find out, my car was sold to an auction and they were trying to get the car back, which I just got the car back yesterday. They sold the car to an auction without the car that I was in financed. So I ended up getting my money back yesterday, and they had to pay to get the car back from the auction. I went up there yesterday around 11:30, and they refunded my deposit, my down payment back onto my card, and I got the car back. So that the whole thing was bad business, bad communication, no communication. I was the consumer, and I had to keep reaching out to them. And how do you sell a car to an auction without another car being financed? That's where I'm at now. And I asked them, well, in that process of y'all selling my car to an auction, and luckily they were able to get it back, I had to pay 2 car notes on a car that I didn't have in my possession. And I asked them, would I be able to get my money back? Would they, compensate me for that. And he said, no, they wouldn't do that. And then on top of it, I had to get, I had insurance on the car while I was driving the car, thinking I was going to be financed. They won't compensate me on that. So it's just, I don't recommend no one to go to Tom Peacock. Bad service. And then I did a review on their site, and the manager of, I think his name was Gabriel something, told me to reach out to him because they don't allow this type of, they don't do business like that, which I did call the number. I left my name and number, and he never called back. So that's where I'm at with Tom Peacock. Very pissed.